The stars were silent. Nothing moved in the deep void between systems except one small human ship. It wasn't fast. It wasn't armed. It was just a scout ship, built for long journeys and deep scans. Its pilot, a quiet man trained for solitude, had been traveling for months without seeing another soul. Then the signal came. It was faint. Broken. Old. Something most scanners would ignore. The signal repeated every few seconds. 3 sharp tones followed by a strange static whisper. Then silence. Over and over again. The human pilot frowned. He leaned closer to the console. His AI said, "Unknown source. Estimated age. Over 10,000 years." Most would have ignored it. Ancient signals drifted through space all the time. Ghosts from dead probes, old battles, failed colonies. But this one felt different. It didn't match any pattern in the database, and it was coming from a system marked dead. The human turned his ship toward the source. The system was cold. The main star was weak, barely glowing. One planet circled it, dark, broken, lifeless. His scanners showed no cities, no power signatures, no movement. Still, the signal was strong. Now, it came from the planet's surface. He landed near the signal's origin. The planet's air was thin but breathable. The ground was gray, dry, like dust baked into stone. He stepped out wearing only light gear. His boots crunched softly as he walked across the lifeless land. In front of him stood something half buried in the ground, an ancient structure made of dark metal and strange glass. Time had cracked it, but parts still glowed with dim blue light. The signal was coming from inside. He entered carefully. The walls were covered in symbols, not from any known language. He took pictures, scanned everything, and walked deeper into the ruin. Then he saw it, a stone tablet in the center of a large chamber. It wasn't glowing. It wasn't high-tech, just old stone carved by hand. He wiped off the dust. The words on it were written in a forgotten dialect, but his translation AI tried its best. The message appeared on his screen. "This place is not a warning. This place is a memory, and the memory is not yours." He felt a chill. Below the message, another line faded into view. "Do not awaken what sleeps. Do not follow the voices. Run." Suddenly the signal changed. The soft, repeating tones stopped. A new sound echoed through the chamber, slow, deep, like breathing. He spun around, scanning the shadows. Nothing moved, but the sound didn't stop. His AI blinked red. Something activated. Power is rising underground. Then, the lights in the chamber flared blue. Back on the surface, his ship shook. Dust flew into the air. The pilot ran back, heart pounding. A low hum filled the air now. It came from beneath the planet's crust. Something massive, something ancient had just woken up. He launched the ship. From the sky he could see it. Lines of blue light glowing under the ground, spreading in every direction like veins. The whole planet was powering up and no one knew. He jumped to FTL and left the system fast. Back in deep space, he sent the data to Earth Command. The reply came within minutes. It was short. Received. Information classified. Level 0. Do not share. Return to base. Immediately. But he didn't turn back. He opened a private channel and sent a copy of everything to a hidden data vault. Then he set course for the next system. His gut told him something was very wrong. Far away in the heart of the Galactic Council, no one noticed the signal had changed. No one but one old station buried in forgotten records. Its sensors blinked. Its alarm stayed silent. But on its dark screen, one ancient warning message appeared. Human contact confirmed. Seal the past before it remembers. And in the depths of the ruined world he had left behind, something opened its eyes. The pilot didn't sleep. After leaving the dead world, he kept checking the signal logs again and again. Something didn't make sense. The stone tablet, the warning, the power surging beneath the surface. Why would a dead planet suddenly wake up after thousands of years, and why did it mention humans? He opened the scan files again. This time, he noticed something strange. Buried in the ruins were genetic symbols. His ship's AI had flagged them as unknown, but now he took a closer look. They were human, nearly identical to Earth DNA, but this place was ancient, older than any human ship, older than Earth's first spaceflight, maybe older than Earth itself. He whispered to himself, "How can we be written into a world from the past?" He changed course. He didn't go back to Earth. Instead, he headed for a deep space archive station, neutral ground used by explorers and scientists across the galaxy. If the answers existed anywhere, they'd be hidden in the old records. The station was quiet when he arrived. No patrols, no dock workers, just a single docking bay lit with flickering lights. He landed. Inside, the halls were cold. He found the central archive room, rows of silent machines glowing weakly, holding thousands of years of data. He inserted his code, uploaded his findings, and let the AI search. What came back didn't feel real. Records found. 2. Origin. Council archives. Status, restricted. He unlocked them using an old Explorer key. The first record was a picture, a world burning. Not from bombs, from inside. Its core was exploding, cracking the crust, tearing the planet apart. Ships fled in every direction. But at the center was a figure. Humanoid, standing in fire, watching the stars. Under the image were 3 words. First human prototype. His heart stopped. The second record was worse. It was a report, written by someone high in the council, long ago. Project Seedfire failed. The humans evolved beyond expectation. They rejected control, turned against creators. We erased all traces, buried the test sites, shut down their systems, and wiped the memories of surviving species. Final action: never allow humanity to learn the truth. He leaned back in his chair, breath shallow. We weren't born by chance. We were made. The lights flickered. The pilot drew his weapon, heart racing. Footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. He backed toward the wall. The station was supposed to be empty. Then the door hissed open. A tall figure in council armor stepped inside, helmet down, weapon raised. You shouldn't have seen that. The pilot fired first, not to kill, just to escape. A blast of smoke filled the room. He dove out the side hatch and sprinted down the corridor. Behind him, voices shouted in a language he didn't know. He reached the docking bay. His ship was locked. He shouted, "Override, now!" As the ship opened, something hit him in the back, a dart. He stumbled but dragged himself inside. The engines roared as he launched, barely dodging plasma fire. The station vanished behind him. He drifted in deep space, wounded and confused. The AI spoke gently. "You are injured. I recommend medical rest." He shook his head. "Not yet. Send." "The truth to Earth. Full file." Message sent, it confirmed. Then he passed out. Hours later, across the stars, Earth's Defense Command received the message. High-ranking officers gathered in silence. The old ones knew this day might come. One of them opened a case sealed for 500 years. Inside were blueprints, not for weapons, but for answers. At the bottom was a file labeled Memory Activation, Human Only. They triggered it. A voice, old and calm, spoke through the speakers. "If you are hearing this, then the council failed. You were not meant to remain blind forever. You were built for more than survival. You were built to change the galaxy. And now, it begins." Back in space, the pilot's ship drifted near an uncharted moon. Something below the surface called to it. The AI blinked. Unknown energy detected. Matching signal from the dead world. Slowly, something rose from beneath. The moon's crust, an ancient structure. A dock. The ship entered on its own. As it connected, the pilot awoke. He looked around, confused. The AI spoke one last line before falling silent. "You've reached the second key. The first memory has been unlocked." And across the stars, the council gathered in panic. "Someone found the ruins?" one asked. No, another replied. Worse, someone understood them. The council knew fear, not war, not rebellion. Fear, because fear came in silence, and silence had just been broken. The council sat in a high chamber, far above the stars. Cold light glowed from the floor. Dozens of species filled the room, some with fur, some with scales, some more machine than life. But all of them stared at one screen. A blurry image showed a human scout ship escaping from a hidden archive station. Under the image was a message. Human has accessed classified origin. Records, Project Seedfire breached, erase all evidence. The room fell into silence. Then the Grand Speaker spoke. Deploy the fleet of silence. Send no warning. Leave no trace. The humans must not connect the past to now. The pilot didn't know they were coming. His ship was still docked deep under the surface of the hidden moon. The second structure, much like the first, had come alive. This one was different. Cleaner, less broken, almost waiting for him. Inside, a large circular chamber lit up. As he stepped forward, the wall showed a moving story. Stars forming, planets, burning, and figures human-like walking among them. But these humans weren't from Earth. They were faster, taller. Their eyes glowed. They held fire in one hand and gravity in the other. And they weren't running from war, they were starting it. Suddenly a voice echoed from above. Not from his AI, from the structure itself. Memory unlocked. You are the first to return. Do you accept your role? He stood still, heart pounding. What role? Keyholder, witness, trigger. The lights turned red. Fleet approaching. Purpose, erase. His AI blinked back online. Multiple ships inbound. Council signatures. Weapons hot. The pilot ran back to his ship. Engines roared to life. The moon shook. As the ship lifted, the ancient dock opened, revealing a hidden tunnel, one that hadn't seen light in thousands of years. He shot forward, away from the rising heat of plasma, blasts. In space above, 10 Black Council warships waited like shadows. No words, no warning. One captain stared at the data. One human, one ship, target acquired, erase memory site. But before they fired, something rose from the moon. It wasn't the human ship. It was older, larger, black as space itself. And it moved like it was alive. The council officers gasped. What is that? It was never on scans, then it fired. A single silent beam, one warship disappeared. No explosion, no debris, just gone. The council fleet opened fire in panic. Below, the pilot escaped through the ancient tunnel and came out on the far side. Of the moon. His AI was screaming with alerts. He turned the ship around just in time to see the unknown black vessel moving through the council ships like a shadow in water. They don't even see it, he whispered. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a ship. It was something built by the first humans back when they had the power to shape stars. The AI said, origin unknown, power beyond current measurement. Designation, echo of Seedfire. Suddenly the strange ship vanished, just disappeared, and with it all council ships, erased in silence. Back on Earth, the message came through late. A deep space satellite had recorded part of the event. Static, distortion, and then one last clear frame, the human scout ship leaving the moon. Behind it, space shimmered, and nothing else remained. Earth Command watched the footage on loop. One general stood and said, "It's not just a story anymore." Another whispered, "The past didn't die. It just waited." Somewhere beyond the galaxy's edge, the council gathered again. But now, their voices shook. "Send more fleets?" one asked. The speaker shook his head slowly. "No, that wasn't just a pilot. That was the memory unlocking itself. We don't need fleets, we need time." "And what of the human?" The speaker's voice was cold. "Find him. Erase him. Before he becomes the second trigger." The pilot didn't run. He turned his ship toward a new signal. One his AI had just unlocked. This one didn't say run. It said, "You are ready." Across the solar system, Earth looked peaceful. Cities glowed under quiet skies. Space stations floated in orbit. Civilians went on with their lives, unaware that a war had almost begun, one no one was prepared for. But deep beneath the oceans, something stirred. Inside Earth's oldest vault, buried under 5 kilometers of rock and water, red lights flashed for the first time in thousands of years. AI cores blinked online. Walls once cold hummed with new energy. A single message had arrived. Small, simple, but ancient. Echo of seedfire active. Human keyholder confirmed. No one on Earth had sent it, but Earth's oldest system still understood, and they remembered. Into a hidden chamber. A machine shaped like a man opened its eyes. It had not moved in over 20 millennia. Its body was metal, but its thoughts were human. Inside its core was a memory. Sealed, waiting. Now, it whispered, "The seed is awake." Alarms triggered across classified military bunkers. Generals were pulled from sleep. Officers stared at screens showing the same strange signal pulsing through space, rising in strength, no known source. Then a new word appeared in bold red text. Recall protocol, Iron Star. On the moon, a forgotten hangar opened. Ice cracked. Dust exploded. Inside sat a warship. But not just any ship. It had no name, no registry. Its shape didn't match any Earth design. Because it wasn't from Earth, it was left for Earth. Its black hull shimmered like oil. Its core throbbed like a heartbeat. Lights danced across its surface in patterns that didn't follow physics. A voice spoke through the hangar, old and mechanical. Keyholder confirmed. Vessel reactivating. Memory link reestablished. Identity, human prototype. Purpose, restoration, though. Ship opened. But no one was there to enter. Yet it waited. Because it knew. He was coming. Far from Earth, the pilot followed the new signal. His ship was damaged, his mind heavy with what he had seen. But he didn't turn back. The AI guided him toward a hidden system, invisible to most scanners. As they entered orbit, the pilot saw something strange. A planet that shimmered like it existed in 2 places at once. The AI whispered, "Cloaked world, origin, pre-council." They landed. The planet wasn't empty. It was filled with machines, towers, drones, satellites, but all of them were asleep until the human stepped onto the surface. Suddenly, everything woke. He walked toward a massive gate. Symbols on the stone shifted as he approached. Then the gate spoke. "You have returned. The last human of the first line, you carry what was lost." He stood silent, breathing hard. "What am I?" The gate answered. "You are not a soldier, not a weapon. You are the memory made flesh." The wine ground opened. A stairway led down deeper than the eye could see. Back on Earth, chaos spread through secret halls. Scientists decoded the signal's full message. And it wasn't a warning, it was a call. A trigger. An invitation. One man, an old scientist who had worked on the Impossible History Project, fell to his knees. "I told them we didn't evolve. Alone," he whispered. "We were made. To wake them." A general grabbed him. "Who? Wake what?" The scientist stared back, terrified. "The ones who created the seed. The first humans. The true ones." In deep space, Council fleets regrouped. They had lost contact with the Silencer fleet. Their weapons had failed. Their secrets had slipped. The speaker stood before the others. "We must destroy the Earth before it remembers more." But a quiet voice interrupted. An old council member who had remained silent for centuries. He stood now, shaking. "No," he said. "You don't understand. If they unlock the final memory, they won't just remember who they were." He pointed at the stars. "They'll remember what we did to stop them." Back on the cloaked planet, the pilot reached the final chamber. Inside was a stone platform. Floating above it, a small black cube pulsed softly. The AI said nothing. Even, it had gone quiet. He stepped forward. The cube drifted into his hands. It was warm. His vision flashed. He saw fire. He saw stars exploding. He saw humans, not as they were now but as they used to be, commanding energy, creating life, burning empires in silence. Then a voice, not his own, spoke inside his mind. "We are the old ones. We left the memory inside you. You are the return. And the galaxy has forgotten what happens when humans remember." The stars shifted, not in light, not in color, in fear, because something had just returned. The pilot's fingers tightened around the black cube. It pulsed in his hand like it was alive. It wasn't just an object. It was a key. Behind him, the silent, cloaked planet began to hum. All around, ancient machines powered up. Buildings that looked like mountains started to move. The AI spoke again, its voice slower, almost respectful. Energy levels rising. This planet is not just a ruin. It is a shipyard, a hidden fortress, made by the first humans. The pilot looked to the sky. "Then why give this to me?" The AI answered with one chilling line. "Because you are not just human. You are their signal to start again." Far across the galaxy, the Council received terrifying data. A new ship had been detected, leaving a cloaked world, destination unknown. But it didn't move like normal ships. It bent space without using jump drives. It flickered between sensor scans. It shouldn't exist. Worse, it carried human signature codes. The Council gave the order. "Send a blockade. Stop it before it reaches any system. Use every fleet." The pilot didn't slow down. His ship, now bonded with the ancient cube, moved like no Earth ship ever had. It didn't fly. It glided through reality, cutting shortcuts through subspace like a blade through cloth. The cube guided him. His target, a Council vault station in Sector 12, where ancient data was hidden from the public. Data that could show why the old humans were erased. He entered the system. The station floated above a red gas giant, guarded by a ring of ships. 50 warships, waiting. The AI spoke calmly. "Warning. Hostile fleet ahead. Recommend withdrawal." The pilot didn't move. "No," he said. "Not this time." He touched the cube. His ship's body changed. Black plates slid over the surface, glowing symbols appeared. Engines flared silently, and the ship spoke in a voice like thunder. "Weapon mode unlocked. Target. All threats to memory. Initiate first strike." Inside the Council command ship, alarms screamed. "Unknown craft is charging something. Shields up. It's not using weapons. Wait. Space is folding around it." Too late. The black ship vanished, then reappeared inside the blockade. Ring one by one, the warships blinked out. No fire, no explosion, just sudden absence. Council officers stared in horror. "It's not fighting. It's erasing." The station tried to flee, but the pilot was faster. He boarded alone. No armor, no army, just a man with a cube in his hand and purpose in his heart. The guards fired. The bullets never touched him. The cube shimmered. Everything around him slowed. Time twisted. The air rippled. The guards dropped their weapons and ran. He walked to the core. Inside, files that had been hidden for thousands of years glowed red. His cube fit into a perfect hole in the console. It clicked, and the station unlocked. "Welcome, prototype. Records restored. Begin transmission to Earth?" He whispered. "Send everything." On Earth, the skies changed. Satellites blinked with data they were never meant to hold. Images filled screens of ancient cities among stars, of humans building planets, of fleets larger than galaxies. And then, the betrayal. The Council feared human power, so they turned on them, destroyed their colonies, wiped their names, programmed the galaxy to forget. But not all of it. One last program was written. A failsafe. If even one seed survives, we return. Earth. Command watched in silence. One general stood. It's not just about survival anymore. He looked to the stars. It's about finishing what they started. Back at the station, the pilot turned. Outside, a second council fleet jumped in. Hundreds of ships, they sent a message. Human vessel, power down, you are surrounded, no one escapes us. The pilot didn't answer. His ship docked itself. The cube floated back into his hand, pulsing stronger than ever. He stepped aboard. The AI asked, "Orders?" He looked at the fleet, thousands of weapons aimed at him. He smiled. Let's show them what one human can do. The stars should have gone dark from the number of ships, a full council fleet, over 1,000 warships, each one armed with weapons strong enough to break planets. And in front of them, one human ship. Silent, black, floating calmly. The council commanders expected fear, panic, surrender. Instead, they saw something that made even the machines hesitate. The ship smiled. Inside, the pilot stood tall. The cube in his hand spun slowly, glowing brighter now. It had no screen, no buttons, but it knew everything. His AI whispered, "They are locking on. Shields at maximum, cloaking unstable." The pilot gave no command. He didn't move. He simply looked out at the fleet and remembered, because the cube was no longer just a key. It was a library. Now he saw what came before. Memory showed inside his mind. First humans fighting battles without ships, calling storms in space, wiping enemy fleets with their minds. Then, betrayal. The council had feared them, so they attacked first. But the first humans knew, and so they left behind a plan. One seed, one survivor, one human who would wake and strike in the shadow. The fleet opened fire. Thousands of beams of light hit the black ship, but they didn't explode. They bent, they twisted, and they vanished. Pulled into the ship like light into a black hole. The council's top commander screamed, "That's impossible! It's not absorbing, it's feeding on the attacks." Then the ship vanished, gone in a blink. Then it reappeared, inside one of their ships. The command deck burst into chaos, sirens, shouting, weapons failing. A blast wave passed through the ship, and it stopped working. Entire engines went dark, shields melted, communications dropped. Outside, other council ships began to spin wildly. They weren't being attacked with force, they were being taken apart from the inside. Back on Earth, the data streams flowed faster. Every military AI, every satellite, every hidden vault was now connected to the pilot ship. Earth Command finally spoke. Activate the memory core. Buried under the Himalayas, a black cube, the twin of the pilot's, lit up, and the ground moved. Under the mountains, something ancient broke free. A massive structure, silent for thousands of years, now roared with power. As snow fell from the peaks, a black triangular warship rose from the earth. It had no crew. It needed none. It had memory, and it remembered who it served. The sky cracked as Earth's first forgotten warship launched, heading straight into deep space. In the outer systems, chaos spread. Council outposts went dark. Ships vanished without signals. Commanders were found dead in their own locked rooms. No signs of damage. Only wide eyes and cold hands. No one claimed the kills, no messages, no blame, just silence and fear. The hidden war had begun. They started calling it the Ghost War, because no one saw it happen, but everyone saw the aftermath. Destroyed fleets, cracked moons, dead stations, no warning, and always. The same trace left behind. A symbol burned into metal, 3 lines crossing like a star. Old council members knew what it meant. They whispered its name. Seedfire. The pilot now moved between systems, faster than light, untouchable. He no longer needed Earth's help, but Earth gave it anyway. More ships awoke. More codes unlocked. Even civilian systems received hidden messages. One farmer found a black cube in his well. A miner uncovered a glowing tunnel under Mars. The first humans hadn't left just one seed, they had left many, and now The galaxy was blooming again. The Council sent peace offers. No reply. They sent spies. None returned. Then, they sent a weapon. Ancient. Forbidden. A living bomb wrapped in time energy. They dropped it into a system where the pilot was last seen. When the light faded, that system was still there. But the Council's weapon had been turned to stone, and the stars above had changed formation, forming a word in ancient code. Try again. One human had started it, but now the shadows were full, and the real fleet hadn't even arrived. The galaxy no longer whispered. Now it watched, not out of curiosity, but fear, because for the first time in 10,000 years, a human had rewritten the stars. The pilot stood in the core of his ship. The black cube no longer floated. It had dissolved, melted, into his skin like fire into steel. Now it pulsed inside his chest. Not technology, memory. The AI, once a tool, now spoke like an equal. More signals are waking. Seed fire codes detected on Earth, Mars, and beyond. The others are rising. The pilot breathed deep. He wasn't alone anymore, but he had started this war. And now, he would finish it. At the edge of the galaxy, the true Council stronghold floated in deep shadow. It was built into a dead star, invisible to most eyes, guarded by thousands of ships, but not hidden from the old humans. Not anymore. The pilot's ship arrived first. No fleet, no warning. The moment it entered the system, every Council alarm lit up. "It's him," whispered a commander. "The ghost ship." "No," said another. "It's the beginning of the end." The pilot did not fire. He sent one final message. "You buried us, you erased us. But one memory was enough, and I am not the only one. You thought humans were weak. You forgot we are seeds, and now we bloom in war." Behind him, space bent. Dozens of black warships emerged from the void. Not built, not launched, remembered, each one a weapon of the first kind, each one carrying the mark of the forgotten empire. No sound, no speeches. They simply descended. The Council activated every defense system, planets shielded, moons armed. Giant weapons spun to life. Still, the war didn't start the way they expected. It started with a whisper. Inside every Council AI system, a message appeared. "We remember." Then the lights dimmed. The shields dropped, and gravity flipped upside down. The Council screamed as their own stations folded inward, imploding from within. Nothing exploded. Everything unraveled. The pilot didn't blink. He walked calmly to the center of his ship. The AI projected one final route. The core lies beneath their last vault. It holds the original erasure code, the virus they used to destroy human memory. He nodded. "If we delete it?" The AI paused. "Then history becomes truth again. All species will know what they did, and what we were meant to be." As the last Council defense ships fired in panic, the pilot's ship cut through space like a blade. Nothing could touch it. He entered the vault alone. It wasn't guarded. It was afraid. Inside, the chamber was silent. A single machine stood in the middle, old, rusted, humming with the virus that had erased humanity from the galactic past. The raint. Pilot touched it. The cube in his chest glowed once more. "Execute restore protocol?" he whispered. "Yes." Light exploded from the vault. Not fire. Truth. The kind that doesn't burn bodies. It burns lies. Across the stars, things changed. Alien. Children in school saw new history lessons. Old ruins once marked unknown now read, built by humans. Ancient laws in Council space began to vanish. And then came the final change. The symbol of the ruling Council, an eye with 7 stars, cracked. And a new symbol appeared. 3 crossing lines. The mark of seed fire. The war was over. But not with a weapon, with one man, one spark, one human who didn't run. Earth changed too, not with power, but with purpose. The galaxy didn't just fear humans now. It respected them, because it remembered. And somewhere alone in space, the pilot stood in the silence of his ship. No medals, no crown, just stars and memory, and the knowledge that one human changed everything.